What does manhood mean to you?
You know, manhood can take many different meanings, but for me personally, I really look back at my own father. I'm one of there's 10 of us, and so he had to be a man to one, be supportive of my mother. He had to be, he had to be breadwinner. He had to be a motivator. And all those things are on his shoulders. I mean, and manhood sometimes requires lots on your shoulders. Not
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men because, frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited to bring this brother to you today. He is a seasoned and passionate leader in the energy infrastructure and finance sectors. He also is very passionate about exposing his area in the world, the working world, to particularly students who do not have previous exposure to this area. More specifically, he wants to get more Black and Brown folks into the industry, the energy industry, so that he's not the only one in the room most of the time. So please welcome Mr. Wayne Barnett. Hey, Wayne, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And so, Wayne, just much like your own passion, we are here to bust open the narrow and myopic narrative around Black men and Black manhood, with the goal one day of having a young king who may or may not have positive Black male role models to see this repository of six questions, well over 100, um, approaching a buck 50, positive and successful Black men, and hopefully they can find his guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, to be able to see the same repository, same six questions answered by all these different ways, and hopefully our minds will be expanded, with the goal of you being able to just be human in the space, in the human race. And so, with that, I'm so glad that you are here to contribute to this repository. I'm going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
You know, manhood can take many different meanings, but for me personally, I really look back at my own father. I'm one of there's 10 of us, and so he had to be a man to one, be supportive of my mother. He had to be, he had to be breadwinner. He had to be a motivator. And all those things are on his shoulders. I mean, manhood sometimes requires lots on your shoulders. Not that there isn't on the women's side, womanhood, but there's a lot on your shoulders to have to carry. And a lot of times you know, traditionally in our community, it's not something you talk about. You just get it done. And so manhood in my mind, a representative is my father, is just someone just puts his head down and he just kept going. He just kept going. That's a good representation of manhood being that provider, and being that representative for the people around and your own children in your community and village.
That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. So, Wayne, who and or what is important to you?
For me, family is important. Family, you'll hear the village quite a bit is critical. And that family can expand to like close friends. It could be your colleagues, could be church. But it's really that ecosystem that's around to support, to motivate. and to prop you up when you're down because life is challenging and you just always need someone to be able to help you along the way. So that's pretty important for me.
That's awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. So, how do you want us to see you?
Well, that's interesting. I want people to see someone that's willing to do what is required, someone that works hard, someone that's disciplined, someone that is gonna come with their shovel the next day to go at that challenge. And it's just someone that's gonna work hard to really make a difference, really, really go that extra mile to make a difference in people's lives. And for me, it's an experience, right? It's when people come near me or in my zone, it's what is that experience that they've had? Hopefully, mostly positive. Not everything can be positive, but it should be an experience that's going to help them get through some challenge, maybe get some insights into best practices that they can take for their journey.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you so much. So, Wayne, what is your epic dream?
Boy, we all have these massive epic dreams. I mean, for me, if I close my eyes and I can just be what it is that I want, it would be and initially it was having lots of money and being able to, impact the world with money. But as I've grown and matured, I realize it's resources. It's money is one of those resources, but resource could just be time, more time. It could be just having an idea to be able to impart on someone, maybe having guidance, perhaps just having the time and the ear to just to listen. So for me, it's having the ability to be there for others, and having me being an actual resource myself. In many cases, the resource could be someone's in need of something, and I happen to have a connection or I know someone that could be helpful. So being a resource in my mind is something that would be important for people to remember, and that's the remembrance of what I can deliver.
That's awesome. Awesome. Excellent. Thank you so much. So, you've been answering question five already implicitly, but I'm going to ask you question five explicitly. Mr. Wayne Barnett, who are you?
Yeah. In some respects, I'm a chameleon, right? So I'm from Jamaica, and you probably wouldn't even know because I solely accent at the border. But that's who I am. I've learned that, I moved to this country when I was 7 years of age. I'm just getting started. I've had to learn to figure out things. I've figured it out, like which neighborhoods. I learned how to figure out how to play basketball instead of soccer and had to be good at it as well. And I'll tell you, in my career, I've pretty much gone into jobs like you think about what you go to school for. You could be a scientist. You know what you want to do. I went into communication was how I started. I thought I was going to be a broadcaster. Then I had an internship. I was like, maybe not, even though I do like to talk and gab. And then I went into finance. But you know what? I was able to find that mix. So I'm in finance, I'm in the business world, but I can use that to actually impact the community as well. And so there's the platform that you have is always critical, and being able to understand it, understand where you are in the bigger picture, and you can use even that role or in that industry to impact others. And so that is who I am. I want to be impactful. I want to be helpful. Certainly want to be successful, and success allows you the opportunity to have resources to provide to others. So that's important for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. And so here we are already at question six, which is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
You didn't miss anything. I mean, first of all, thank you for this platform and your passion for doing it. I think it's necessary. And manhood and man, it's important for us to hear from others. I guess the one thing you didn't miss it, but we didn't really talk about maybe culturally what's super important, like arts and that sort of thing. That's important because especially as Black people and men, we walk around and we have a culture. I mean, I happen to be from Jamaica, so in some respects, I mean, it's actually interesting when you speak to your brothers and sisters from Africa. My last name is Barnett. It's Scottish. They're able to tell me the tribe. They're able to literally tell you which tribe they come from. You don't understand. That is like critical. And you're able to see the culture, like each country, really. It's so important for us to come connect back to that motherland and see that difference. I mean, just the fact that they're like, yeah, I'm from this tribe now. Some of the tribes are warring and all that stuff. But then again, we war from block to block. But just being able to connect back to that and the ability for you to actually go back and connect directly, that's a confidence thing. When you can walk and say, that artwork, that food, that is from this particular region of a place where I am from or from my ancestors is really critical. And it speaks to culture, it speaks to the art, it speaks to everything that goes on around us. It's very important for us to connect back to that component, right? That is literally, I mean, there's decades in history of that. You can go back, you cannot take it from you. And I think more of us should really connect back to that in some respects. And I think that gives us a little more bravado as well and confidence. So
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I do, there are parts of me that I wish like, oh, how cool would it be, right, to do that? And in some respects, I wonder if it's like for folks, those of us who may be adopted and may not know who our biological parents are, and what does that feel like, right? Connecting, so you're a part of something, and yet there's a piece that is someplace else, right? And and as much as we can, connecting with each other, transcending all of those other lines and all those origin stories to create this kind of we're not monolithic, but it creates a community of all of these different patchworks.
yes,
Which can be really powerful and can be as empowering, I think, as knowing where you come from, if we allow it, right?
if you allow it.
And so I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for your own passion of really exposing young people, particularly, or anyone who is interested in your field, and having them to see the opportunities. And like you said before we started recording, the only thing you can do is expose someone.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be for them, or they don't have to choose it as a career, but the exposure, the choice that lies within the exposure is so important. It is critical for all of us to have that kind of exposure. And so I'm so honored and so grateful of the work that you do. And I'm glad that you were here. So I honor you, my king. I pray that your epic dream does indeed come true sooner rather than later, and that you will continue to be a light in many different spaces for all of us. And so I'm so grateful that you were here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you so much. Continue doing it. I'm willing and happy to be supportive. This is truly, truly critical and important. Thank you so much, and to your audience as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. I stay right there because I do want to thank the audience for joining us today. I really hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I have. And if there's a positive and successful Black man in your life who you want to see highlighted in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio. Fill out the nomination form and we'll take it from there. I always say that success does not mean necessarily what someone does for a living. They could be a successful and seasoned energy, infrastructure, and finance sector professional like Wayne, or not. What we are really looking for, in addition to these folks like Wayne, are men who are positive and making a positive impact on their community, starting with their nuclear family and to the people around them, the community writ large. We want to add those brothers to this repository too, so that we can all, learn more and have our experiences expanded. And so please, next week, stay tuned for yet another amazing king. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thanks so much, and Wayne, thank you so much. It was really wonderful. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.